Money flows to those who understand its nature. That's a truth I discovered after decades of watching people struggle, fight, and wrestle with their financial destiny. But here's what fascinates me: the difference between those who attract abundance and those who repel it isn't found in their bank accounts. It's found in the 6 inches between their ears. You're sitting here today because something inside you knows this truth. You feel it in your bones. That restless whisper telling you there's more to life than trading time for dollars, more than watching others achieve what you know in your heart you're capable of achieving. Let me share something profound with you. Every morning, millions wake up believing they're destined for mediocrity. They've accepted the story that wealth is for others, the lucky ones, the privileged ones, the ones who got there first. But that's not why they remain where they are. They remain there because they think like employees even when they dream of becoming employers. The wealthy, truly wealthy, think differently. Not better, just differently. When they see a successful business, they don't say, "I wish I had thought of that." They ask, what problem did they solve, and what problems remain unsolved. When they read about a new millionaire, they don't mumble, "Must be nice." They study the patterns, the decisions, the mindset that led to that success. It's a truth that might shake you. Your current financial situation is the perfect reflection of your current thinking patterns. That might sting a little good. Growth begins at the edge of comfort. Consider this. 2 people start with exactly the same resources. One accumulates wealth, the other accumulates debt. The external world, the economy, the market, the opportunities was identical for both. The only variable was their thinking. One thought in terms of assets and investments, the other in terms of expenses and liabilities. You might be wondering, but what about luck? What about timing? Of course they play a role. But have you noticed how the same people seem to get lucky over and over again? That's not coincidence, it's consciousness. They've trained their minds to recognize opportunities that others walk right past. Let me tell you about 2 neighbors I once knew. Both worked at the same company, earned similar salaries, lived in comparable houses. One day, they both received a $10,000 bonus. The first immediately upgraded his car, taking on new monthly payments. The second invested in a small pressure washing business that operated on weekends. 5 years later, their lives looked dramatically different. The first was still working the same job with the same struggles. The second had built a fleet of pressure washing trucks, hired operators, and was earning more from his side business than from his day job. The difference? One thought like a consumer, the other like an investor. One saw money as something to spend, the other as something to multiply. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is crucial for you to understand. The wealthy mindset isn't just about money, it's about value. The richest people I know are obsessed with creating value. They wake up thinking about how to solve problems, how to serve more people, how to improve systems, how to eliminate inefficiencies. You see, most people have it backwards. They think, once I have money, I'll start thinking like a wealthy person. But that's like saying, once I'm fit, I'll start exercising. The mindset must come first, the actions follow. The results follow the actions. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you read a book about business or investing? When did you last study the biography of someone who built wealth from nothing? When did you last analyze your spending patterns, not to budget, but to understand the psychology behind your financial decisions? Your answers to these questions tell you more about your financial future than your current bank balance ever could. Because here's another truth. The wealthy are voracious learners. They understand that the best investment isn't in stocks or real estate. It's in their own capacity to create value. Think about this theory. A person who's achieved significant wealth had to learn how to do it. No one is born knowing how to build a business, invest in real estate, or spot market opportunities. These are learned skills. And if they can learn them, so can you. And this is crucial, you must start with your thinking. You must begin questioning every financial assumption you've inherited. Why do you believe what you believe about money? Who taught you those beliefs? Are they serving you or limiting you? The transformation begins when you start seeing money as a tool rather than a goal. Wealthy people don't pursue money, they pursue value creation, and money naturally flows as a result. They understand that wealth is a byproduct of solving problems for others. Consider your own life for a moment. What problems do you solve at your current job? Now, what problems could you solve if you thought bigger? If you weren't constrained by an employee mindset, if you saw yourself not as a worker, but as a solution provider? These aren't comfortable questions. They're not meant to be. They're meant to disturb your current thinking patterns, to create cracks in the foundation of limiting beliefs that have held you back. Because that's where transformation begins, in the uncomfortable space between who you are and who you could become. You know what fascinates me most about wealth? It's not the numbers in a bank account, it's not the houses or the cars. It's the profound difference in how wealthy people process information. Every piece of news, every challenge, every setback is filtered through a completely different lens. Let me share something that might change your life forever. Well, wealthy people don't just have more money, they have a fundamentally different relationship with reality. When they look at a problem, they don't see an obstacle. They see an opportunity waiting to be monetized. When they face a crisis, they don't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What's the opportunity here?" Think about the last time you faced a major problem. What was your first reaction? Did you feel overwhelmed? Did you look for someone to blame? Or did you immediately start looking for the hidden opportunity? Your answer reveals more about your financial future than any business plan ever could. Here's a truth that might make you uncomfortable. The size of your wealth will never exceed the size of your personal growth. Most people want their bank accounts to grow while their minds stay exactly the same. That's like expecting a garden to flourish while refusing to tend to the soil. Let me tell you about two responses I witnessed during a major economic downturn. Most people were panicking, selling assets at a loss, pulling money out of the market. But there was this small group who seemed almost excited by the chaos. They weren't celebrating the suffering. They were recognizing the opportunity. While others saw falling prices as a disaster, they saw them as a sale on assets. Same circumstance, completely different mindset. But here's what's really interesting, and this is crucial for your transformations. The wealthy mindset isn't just about seeing opportunities, it's about having the courage to act on them. And that courage comes from something I call educated confidence. Not blind optimism, but confidence built on knowledge, preparation, and understanding. When you truly understand how money works, when you grasp the principles of value creation, risk management, and compound growth, fear loses its grip on you. You stop being paralyzed by what if it fails and start asking what if it succeeds. That's the transformation point. That's when everything changes. You see, most people are playing not to lose. The wealthy are playing to win. And those are two completely different games with completely different rules and completely different outcomes. When you're playing not to lose, you make decisions based on. When you're playing to win, you make decisions based on opportunity. Let's talk about something that might surprise you. The wealthy have a completely different relationship with failure. Most people see failure as something to avoid at all costs. The wealthy see it as tuition paid for real-world education. They understand that every failure contains a lesson that makes the next success more likely. Ask yourself, when was the last time you failed at something significant? How did you respond? Did you retreat into safety, or did you extract the lesson and try again with better information? Your answer tells you whether you're thinking like someone who will remain where they are or someone who will grow. Here's another crucial distinction. The wealthy think in systems while most people think in isolated events. When something good happens to most people, they call it luck. When something good happens to the wealthy, they ask, what system can I create to make this happen regularly? Consider this. Every day, countless opportunities pass right in front of you, but you can only recognize what you're trained to see. The wealthy have trained themselves to spot opportunities that others miss. They've developed what I call an opportunity mindset. It's like having a special pair of glasses that lets you see what others can't. But, and this is essential, this mindset isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop. It's a muscle you strengthen through consistent exercise. Every time you choose to see a problem as an opportunity, every time you choose to learn from a failure instead of being defeated by it, every time you choose to act despite fear, you're strengthening that muscle. The transformation of your financial life begins with the transformation of your thinking. But here's the part most people miss. It's not enough to just think differently. You must act differently. Thoughts without actions are just dreams. Actions without thoughts are just busy work. The magic happens when aligned thoughts and actions work together. What would you do differently today if you absolutely knew you would succeed? What risks would you take? What opportunities would you pursue? What dreams would you finally act on? The difference between your answer and your current actions is the gap you need to close. You see, the wealthy don't wait for certainty. They move forward with clarity. They understand that certainty is an illusion that keeps most people stuck in mediocrity. They embrace calculated uncertainty as the price of extraordinary returns. Think about the most successful people you know. Did they have absolute certainty when they started? Of course not. What they had was clarity about their direction and confidence in their ability to learn and adjust along the way. That's the mindset you need to develop. But here's what's really exciting. This transformation is available to anyone willing to do the work. The principles that govern wealth creation don't care about your background, your education, or your current circumstances. They respond to your thinking and your actions, nothing else. The question isn't whether these principles work. They've been proven throughout history. The question is, are you willing to do the inner work required to align yourself with them? Are you willing to challenge your current thinking? Are you willing to face the uncomfortable truths about your relationship with money? Are you willing to develop new habits of thought and action? Because here's the ultimate truth. Your financial life will never exceed your personal growth. If you want to increase your wealth, you must first increase your capacity to create and handle wealth. That starts with how you think, continues with how you learn, and manifests in how you act. There's something powerful that happens when you begin to see money as energy rather than just paper in your wallet. Every dollar is a seed that can either be consumed or planted. The wealthy understand this at a bone-deep level. They don't just manage money, they direct its energy toward growth. Let me share a profound truth that changed my entire perspective. Your current income is not your potential income. It's merely the reflection of your current value proposition to the marketplace. The moment you grasp this truth, everything changes. You stop thinking about how to get a raise and start thinking about how to increase your value to the world. Consider this. Every major fortune started with a simple decision. The decision to become valuable, not to chase money, but to become so good at solving problems that money naturally flows in your direction. The wealthy don't ask, how can I make more money? They ask, how can I create more value? Here's what most people miss. Value creation isn't just about skills or knowledge. It's about developing what I call a wealth consciousness. This is the ability to see opportunities where others see obstacles, to recognize patterns where others see chaos, to create solutions where others only complain about problems. But let me be very clear about something. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. This is about fundamental shifts in how you process reality. When you develop wealth consciousness, you start asking different questions. Instead of asking, can I afford this? You ask, how can I afford this? Instead of saying, I can't, you ask, how can I? Let me share something that might shake your current thinking. Every problem in your community is a potential fortune waiting to be made. Every frustration people experience is a market opportunity. Every inefficiency in a system is a chance to create value. The wealthy see the world as an endless stream of opportunities disguised as problems. Think about this. What problems do you encounter every day? What frustrates you? What frustrates others around you? In those frustrations lie the seeds of potential wealth. But here's the key. You must train your mind to see them not as annoyances, but as opportunities. The transformation begins when you start taking inventory of your mental habits. What do you say to yourself when you see a successful person? What's your first thought when you hear about someone making a fortune? Your immediate, unedited responses reveal your wealth consciousness, or lack thereof. Here's a pattern I've observed. The wealthy are intensely curious about how things work. They don't just use services. They analyze business models. They don't just shop at stores. They study supply chains. They don't just buy products. They investigate market trends. Every experience is an opportunity to learn, to understand, to grow. But, and this is crucial, they don't just gather information. They act on it. They test theories. They take calculated risks. They understand that knowledge without action is just entertainment. The real learning happens in the doing. Let me challenge you with this thought. What if everything you currently believe about money is limiting you? What if your financial struggles are not due to external circumstances, but to internal programming? What if the only thing standing between you and wealth is the way you think about wealth? Consider how the wealthy approach education. They don't stop learning when school ends. They're constant students of success. They study markets, psychology, technology, trends. They understand that in a rapidly changing world, the ability to learn and adapt is more valuable than any single piece of knowledge. Here's something that might surprise you. The wealthy are more excited by problems than by solutions. Why? Because they understand that every problem represents an opportunity. The bigger the problem, the bigger the potential reward for solving it. While others complain about problems, they're already calculating the value of potential solutions. Think about your own life. What problems do you encounter that you've been trained to accept? What if those problems are actually opportunities in disguise? What if your unique perspective on those problems is actually your ticket to wealth? The wealthy have mastered what I call opportunity sight. They've trained their minds to spot gaps in the market, inefficiencies in systems, unmet needs in communities. But here's what's fascinating: these opportunities aren't hidden. They're right in front of everyone. The difference is in the seeing. Let me share something powerful. Your current financial situation is giving you perfect feedback about your current way of thinking. If you're not satisfied with the feedback, it's time to change the input. It's time to upgrade your mental software. Consider every wealthy person you admire start exactly where you are, with a decision to think differently. They didn't wait for circumstances to change. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They simply decided to stop thinking like everyone else. But here's what's really exciting about this transformation. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more fully yourself. It's about aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the laws of wealth creation. It's about removing the mental blocks that have been holding you back. The wealthy understand something profound. Money is neutral. It's neither good nor bad. It's simply a reflection of value created in exchange. Once you grasp this truth, you stop judging money and start studying it. You stop feeling guilty about wanting it and start focusing on deserving it through value creation. Think about the last time you had a great idea. What did you do with it? Did you act on it? Did you study its feasibility? Did you look for ways to test it? Or did you let doubt and fear talk you out of it? Your answer reveals whether you're thinking like someone who will remain where they are or someone who will grow in. The transformation of your financial life isn't just about learning new information. It's about developing new instincts. It's about training your mind to automatically spot opportunities, calculate risks, and take intelligent action. It's about developing what I call wealth reflexes. But here's the beautiful truth. These wealth reflexes can be developed. Just like you can train your body to respond differently, you can train your mind to think differently. Every time you choose abundance thinking over scarcity thinking, every time you choose action over hesitation, every time you choose learning over knowing, you're building these new reflexes. The most profound truth about wealth creation is this: your daily habits are creating your financial future. Every decision, every reaction, every response is either moving you toward wealth or away from it. There is no neutral ground. You're either growing or shrinking, advancing or retreating. Let me share something that might challenge your current thinking. Most people believe they want wealth, but what they really want is comfort. And that's precisely why they never achieve wealth. The wealthy understand that growth happens outside your comfort zone. They've learned to be comfortable with discomfort. Think about your typical day. How do you spend the first hour after waking? What occupies your mind during your commute? How do you use your lunch break? The wealthy use these pockets of time differently. They're not just going through the motions. They are consciously designing their days for growth. Here's a truth that transformed my understanding. The wealthy don't just have different bank accounts. They have different daily rituals. While others start their day checking social media, they start by checking opportunities. While others end their day watching entertainment, they end by reviewing lessons learned and planning tomorrow's growth. But let me be crystal clear about something. This isn't about working yourself to death. It's about working yourself to life. It's about engaging with each day as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become more valuable. The wealthy understand that time is the ultimate currency, and they invest it accordingly. Consider their not. Every person who's achieved significant wealth has developed what I call a wealth routine. This isn't just about managing money. It's about managing energy, focus, and growth. They understand that wealth is harvested in your daily habits long before it appears in your bank account. Let me share something profound. Your current financial situation is the compound interest of your daily habits. Just as money compounds over time, so do the effects of your daily choices. The wealthy understand this at a bone-deep level. They know that small daily improvements, compounded over time, create extraordinary results. Think about your relationship with learning. Do you actively seek out new knowledge every day? Do you study success patterns? Do you analyze failures? Both yours and others, the wealthy, are obsessed with learning. Not just formal education, but practical, applicable knowledge that increases their ability to... Here's what separates the wealthy from the rest. They don't just consume information. They convert it into action. They understand that knowledge without application is like food without digestion. It might make you feel full, but it doesn't nourish you. Consider how you handle problems. When you encounter an obstacle, do you immediately look for someone to blame, or do you automatically start looking for the opportunity hidden within it? The wealthy have trained their minds to see problems as profit opportunities in work clothes. But here's what's really fascinating. The wealthy have developed what I call success triggers. These are automatic responses to specific situations. When they see a problem, it triggers opportunity thinking. When they experience a setback, it triggers learning mode. When they achieve a goal, it triggers next level thinking. Let me challenge you with this stuff. What if every excuse you've ever made for not achieving wealth was actually a signpost pointing to an opportunity? What if your struggles aren't obstacles but stepping stones? What if your limitations are actually invitations to innovate? The wealthy understand something profound about human nature. We don't rise to the level of our hopes. We fall to the level of our habits. That's why they focus relentlessly on developing wealth-building habits. They know that inspiration is temporary, but habits are permanent. Think about your current habits around money. Do you automatically save a portion of every dollar that comes your way? Do you automatically look for ways to make your money work for you? Do you automatically evaluate opportunities for their growth potential? These aren't just practices. They're the operating system of wealth. Here's something that might shake your current thinking. The wealthy don't have better opportunities. They have better habits for recognizing and acting on opportunities. They've trained themselves to spot value where others see nothing. They've developed the habit of seeing connections where others see chaos. Consider this: every major breakthrough in your life will come from breaking through a limiting habit of thought or action. The wealthy understand this. They're constantly examining their habits, upgrading their responses, refining their reactions. They treat their mind like a garden. constantly weeding out limiting habits and planning empowering ones. But here's what's really exciting about this transformance. It's available to anyone willing to do the work. The principles that govern wealth creation don't care about your past. They only respond to your present habits and actions. Let me share something powerful. The wealthy have mastered what I call strategic impatience. They're patient with results, but impatient with actions. They understand that while big results take time, actions can be taken immediately. They don't wait to feel ready. They act to become ready. Think about your own life. What actions have you been postponing until you feel ready? What opportunities have you been waiting to be perfect before pursuing? What if those very acts of waiting are the habits keeping you from wealth? The transformation begins when you start treating every day as a building block of your financial future. The wealthy understand that success isn't something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming a person of value. And that becoming happens daily through consistent habits and conscious choices. But here's the key distinction. The wealthy don't just have different habits, they have different standards. They've raised their standards for what they'll accept from themselves, what they'll spend time on, what they'll allow into their mind. They understand that your life will never exceed your standards. Consider how you spend your evenings. The wealthy use this time differently. While others unwind with mindless entertainment, they unwind by reading about their industry, studying success patterns, planning their next moves. They've developed the habit of productive relaxation. The transformation of your financial life begins with the transformation of your daily practices. Every wealthy person you admire has developed specific habits that support their success. They didn't achieve wealth and then develop these habits. They developed the habits first, and wealth followed naturally. Your life is about to change, not because I'm standing here speaking these words, but because you're ready. I can feel it in this room. That electric moment when knowledge meets readiness, when inspiration meets determination, when potential meets purpose. They share one final truth that ties everything together. Wealth is not a destination. It's a consequence. It's the natural result of thinking, acting, and being different from the crowd. The wealthy understand that their financial reality is simply the outer manifestation of their inner landscape. Think about every excuse you've ever made about money. Every reason you've given yourself for why wealth was for others, but not for you. Now understand this profound truth. Those very excuses have been the bars of your financial prison. The moment you release them, you step into freedom. Here's what most people never grasp. The path to wealth isn't about following a set of rules. It's about becoming a different person. It's about upgrading your mental software, rewiring your responses, revolutionizing your relationships with money, opportunity, and value. Consider this. Every wealthy person you admire was once exactly where you are now. They had the same doubts, the same fears, the same limiting beliefs. What set them apart wasn't their circumstances. It was their decision to change their thinking. They decided that their desire for growth was greater than their comfort with limitation. Let me share something powerful. The wealthy have mastered what I call the abundance perspective. They don't see life as a zero-sum game. They understand that wealth isn't about taking from others. It's about creating value that didn't exist before. They know that the pie isn't fixed. It can be grown. Think about your current relationship with opportunity. The wealthy have trained themselves to see opportunities everywhere. They understand that in every problem, in every complaint, in every inefficiency lies the seed of a potential fortune. They've developed opportunity sight as their default setting. But here's what's really exciting about this transformance. It's available to you right now, not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, not when you have more resources, right now. Because the only resource you need to begin is the one you already have, your mind. Consider how the wealthy approach failure. They don't see it as an end. They see it as feedback. They understand that every failure carries within it the seed of an equivalent or greater success. They've learned to fail forward, to use every setback as a setup for a comeback. Let me challenge you with this thought. What if everything you currently believe about wealth is just a story you've been telling yourself? What if your financial struggles aren't evidence of your limitations, but invitations to your growth? What if your past isn't a predictor of your future, but merely preparation for it? Reality understands something profound about human potential. We all have a thermostat setting that determines our level of success. The key to lasting change isn't just in raising your income. It's in raising your thermostat setting. It's about becoming comfortable with higher levels of success, responsibility, and abundance. Think about your dreams, not the cautious ones you share with others, but the real ones. The ones that scare you a little, the ones that feel almost too big to say out loud. The wealthy understand that those dreams aren't random, they're assignments. They're glimpses of your potential calling you forward. Here's a truth that might shake you. Your current financial situation isn't your fault, but your financial future is your responsibility. The wealthy understand this distinction. They don't waste energy blaming past circumstances. They invest that energy in creating future possibilities. Consider this: every moment of your life has been preparing you for this transformation. Every struggle has been building your strength. Every setback has been teaching you resilience. Every challenge has been developing your character. You haven't been failing. You've been in training. Let me share something profound. The wealthy have mastered what I call future pull. Instead of being pushed by their past, they're pulled by their vision of the future. They understand that what you focus on expands. They focus relentlessly on opportunities, on growth, on value creation. Think about the legacy you want to leave. The wealthy think beyond their own lives. They understand that true wealth isn't just about accumulating money. It's about creating lasting value. It's about solving problems that matter. It's about making a difference that continues beyond your lifetime. But here's what's really exciting about this moment. You get to choose right here, right now. You get to decide, will you continue with the thinking that's created your current results? Or will you embrace new thoughts, new beliefs, new actions that can create new results? The transformation of your financial life begins with a decision. Not a wish, not a hope, not a maybe, a decision. The wealthy understand that clarity precedes success. They get clear about what they want, why they want it, and what they're willing to do to achieve it. Consider this final truth: your financial future is not determined by your past. It's determined by your perspective. The wealthy have learned to see differently, think differently, act differently, and because of that, they get different results. The opportunity before you now isn't just about making more money. It's about becoming more. It's about stepping into your full potential. It's about creating value that makes the world better. It's about living a life of purpose and prosperity. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can continue with the thinking that's created your current results, or you can choose to think like the wealthy think. You can continue with habits that maintain your current level, or you can develop habits that create new possibilities. Remember this: wealth isn't just about having more, it's about becoming more. It's about growing into the person who can create and sustain success. It's about developing the mindset, habits, and character that naturally attract abundance. The journey begins now. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel completely ready. Now. Because the truth is, you'll never feel completely ready for transformation. The wealthy understand this. They don't wait for readiness. They act their way into new ways of thinking. Your future is calling. It's calling you to think bigger, dream larger, act bolder. It's calling you to step out of the constraints of your past and into the possibilities of your potential. It's calling you to become the person you were meant to be. The choice is yours. The time is now. The person you become in this journey is the real wealth. Everything else, the money, the success, the influence, those are just natural consequences of your transformation. Step into your power, embrace your potential, create your legacy. The world is waiting for the value only you can create. The time for thinking small is over. The time for playing safe is past. Your journey to wealth through wealth. Remember, wealth isn't just what you have, It's who you become. And who you become is determined by how you think, what you believe, and most importantly, how you act. The future belongs to those who dare to think differently, act boldly, and create value consistently. The transformation is waiting. The opportunity is here. The decision is yours. Make it count.